All right, good morning, everyone. My name is Karthik Patel, and this is the first session where we would get an understanding on how can we work with Selenium and Python. The first thing that I would be doing is I would be starting with my introduction. So my name is Karthik Patel. Like I have more than 10 years of experience into software engineering, software testing. If I talk about my professional journey, I have had the privilege of working with some of the best product-based organizations. I've also worked with some of the tier one software engineering or software companies. If I talk about my core skill set, I have been using Python for more than 4 years. I was earlier working with Java. Selenium is my core expertise. I've also got an understanding on AWS, which is again cloud. I am familiar with Jenkins, Kubernetes, and various other technologies that are prevalent in the industry. Apart from my professional journey, I am an avid traveler. I like traveling. I like exploring new places. I like to know more about different culture. I like meeting different people. So this is something about myself. We'll go ahead. So we'll just try to understand what are the importance. So what is the importance of this technology? Right? See, Python is very easy to learn. If you want to learn Python in comparison to Java, it is very easy. The other point mentioned by Pankaj is it supports wide range of libraries. It is very heavily used by data scientists. It is very heavily used in machine learning. It is very heavily used in artificial intelligence. So if you see the I think in last few years, last couple of years, Python has gained enormous popularity because of the rise in data science, because of rise in artificial intelligence, machine learning, right? And that is the reason we are seeing a tremendous amount of developers, estates who want to learn Python, right? Earlier, it was all about Java and .NET, but now with this emerging technologies, next generation technologies, Python has gained enormous popularity. It supports wide range of libraries. It is extensible. It is object oriented, and the code is very easy to maintain. In case of Python, okay, we'll talk about the advantages again. The advantages are more in same line. The demand for Python has grown significantly. Python is very widely used by the data scientists, data engineers. With the rise in AI, artificial intelligence, machine learning, Python has received enormous popularity. Okay. So now I want to get an understanding. Do you know what is the difference between Python and some of the other programming languages that we have? What is the difference between Python and C, C++, Java? There is certain very unique differentiating factors between Python and this programming languages. Can anyone spot those main differences?
Sorry, sir, I don't know about it, so maybe other guys can.
Yeah, no problem, Sumant. Pankaj, Nikita, any idea what is the difference between Python and other programming languages? Okay, no issues. I would rephrase my question. Let's take an example. If you want to write a hello world program, probably in C, probably in Java, what would you do? Pankaj, uh, can you recollect if you want to write a simple hello world program in Java or C, C++? What would you do?
Sir, in C++, we will write system.out.println and
Okay,
inside a curly bracket. But in Python, we will continue with print function. Only we will write a print and hello world.
okay, perfect. So, see, do you get the difference? What is the difference between C++, and that is where the difference is?
Syntactically, maybe it is easy.
Correct.
Less syntax.
Okay. Let's take an example. If I want to write hello world, this is as simple. I'll just write print hello world, and in the console, I would get hello world. In Java, it is altogether difficult. In C, again, we would need to write a bunch of code. We would need to have a main class, right? And then we would need to write hello world, right? But in Java, in Python, it is simply print hello world. Okay. So we'll try to understand what are the differences.
Yes, and one more difference is like in if we talk about Java, so in Java, like we have to define main function and all, but in Python we don't need to write every time class. Without class, we can also implement the Python. So yeah, that's one is different.
Perfect. Right. Thank you so much, Nikita, for pointing out that point. See, what happens is, in case of Java, as she rightly mentioned and Pankaj also mentioned, we would need to have a main class. We would need to have public static void main in Java, right? The reason being, the other languages like C, C++, Java, all those languages are compiler-based languages, whereas Python is interpreter language. So in case of compiler-based languages, we would need to have all those stuff into consideration, right? Like the main, we would need to have a class, we would need to have a main class, we would need to write public static void main. So all those things is necessary when you're using a compiler-based languages. But when we are using a interpreter language, which is Python, we don't need all those stuff. The other differentiating factor, the major difference between Python and other competitive programming languages is Python is dynamically typed. Okay. So now what is dynamically typed? Let's take an example. If I want to create a variable in Java or C or C++ or in any language which holds the value, your name. For example, Pankaj, you are creating a variable. The value of that variable would be Pankaj. Sumant is creating a variable. The value of that variable would be Sumant. If Nikita is creating a variable, the value of that variable would be Nikita. So let's take an example. If you want to create a variable, how can you create a variable? Nikita, Archana, Pankaj, Sumant. Very easy, right? We just want to
Yes,
create a
yes.
variable. So can you just
Yes.
type in the chat how can we create a variable? What do we need if we want to create a variable?
First we write data type.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. Uh, int a equals to 20. Inside a
Correct.
we will store a value 20.
Perfect, right? So what we have done is this is the data type, integer. What is a name of the variable, right? And 20 is the value. Now if I want to do the same thing in Python, what I would be doing? I would be saying simply a equals to 20. Okay, so the differentiating factor is we are not required to create the data type. Automatically, it will understand which type of value the variable is holding, and that is the reason Python is called as a dynamically typed language. No need to create this data type. Okay, so we'll see this in our upcoming sessions, but I just wanted to give an understanding because this is very important from an interview perspective. When you are appearing for an interview, these are some of the very common questions that the interviewer will try to evaluate you, right? What is the difference between Python and other programming language? The first thing is it is an interpreted based language and it is dynamically typed. This is the main difference between Python and other programming languages. No, right. Uh, so we'll talk about some of the job opportunities. After we conclude or after we complete this session, or I would say course. So you could get a job opportunity as a Python developer. We could start our career as an estate data analyst. I would see the core, the starting. If you want to become a data analyst, if you want to become a data scientist, what is the purpose or what is the main technology or the core technology that is used? The core technology that is used is Python. A lot of companies require Python if you want to apply as a product manager, right? Machine learning engineer, again machine learning, artificial intelligence, all those stuff, all these technical jargons, eventually they are using Python. DevOps engineers, again Python is very widely used if you want to create lambda function, if you want to use AWS, right? In AWS would be creating lambda functions. That is where Python comes into consideration. Even in Jenkins, when you're writing a shell script, if you're writing a bash script, Python would come into consideration. Network engineering, right? Sumant has similar sort of experience in the industry. Again, network engineers need to have Python capabilities. So these are some of the job opportunities that would have if you are familiar, if you have got a good hold, if you've got a good understanding on Python. Okay.
Actually, sir, it is not a network engineering I worked upon. It is a application support actually.
Okay,
So
so it is
functional consultant, and yeah, I worked.
okay,
Hmm.
understood. All right.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so how long this specific programming language or this specific technology has been in the market? I think it was released in 1991. It has been in the industry for more than 3 decades. But again, as I mentioned, the point in the beginning of the session, Python has gained enormous popularity, enormous familiarity in last few years due to the rise of machine learning, artificial intelligence, data science, because we have a lot of data, right? So Python has gained enormous popularity, but it has been there. It has been there since we had Java, but in last couple of years, it has gained enormous popularity. Again, what is the future of Python? I think I was working as an estate, right? I was working in Java when our organization decided to adopt Python. I was rather little reluctant. The reason being, I was very strong in Java. I had good understanding on Java. I was reluctant to switch to a different technology because I would need to start from the scratch. I would need to start from the beginning, and I was not happy to switch to Java, to Python from Java. But since I started learning Python, I trust me, I am absolutely loving Python in comparison to Java. The other thing which I would like to mention is Python has got a very bright future. It is, and I'm sure you all must be aware, it is very widely used in machine learning, artificial intelligence, data science. And since this technology would continue to grow in the future, the popularity, the advantage, the use of Python would continue to increase. The demand of Python would continue to increase. Okay. What are the other competitors, or I would say, what are the other competitive programming language? I would say Java, we've got .NET, we've got PHP, we've got Ruby, we've got Perl. There are a lot of other different programming languages. The main competitive language I would say is should be Java, which is provided by Oracle, and .NET, which is provided by Microsoft. Okay, so what are the certifications that you could do after this training, right? There is a certification called PCEP, which is Python Certified Entry Level Programmer. This is a certification which you could definitely try. All the topics that are coming in the examination for PCEP would be covered. Then is we have got another certification called as PCAP, Python Certified Associate Programmer. I am a Python Certified Programmer. Okay, so this is one of the certification that you could try. You could also try ISTQB Automation Test Engineer. Again, ISTQB gives different certification, but they are also enhanced. If you want to apply for an automation specialist, you could appear for that interview, and you could certification, and you could try to clear that certification.
Okay.
Okay, now we would talk about any questions. So we'll talk about any questions that you have, you want to answer, you want to get answer of any of the questions. You need more clarification on a specific topic.
Sir, any specific IDE we are going to use
You'll be
during the
using,
course?
yes, we'll be using PyCharm. PyCharm is very widely used.
Actually, in our company, we are using Eclipse.
Okay, see, Eclipse is ideally used for Java, but there is an
Yes,
extension which Eclipse provide if you want to integrate Python. But
yes.
I would suggest we can use PyCharm. PyCharm is very familiar, I would say very robust, and it is built specifically for Python, right? So if you want, we'll continue with PyCharm, but I would show you how you could integrate Python with Eclipse.
Actually, sir, this was my very specific requirement. Last time also we had a meeting with sir, other sir, so that I mentioned.
Okay.
Uh, yes, sir. Actually, I really don't want to spend more time on switching from the IDs. I mean,
Okay. No problem. So we would have a discussion offline. I'll get in touch with Swapnil. We can have a discussion offline. No problem. That should be fine.
yes.
Any other questions, Sumant?
Apart from that, sir, we are using BDD. It is behavior driven development. So like we identify the class path or the elements to be clickable, and then we write a code around it. I mean, in automation testing. So I think we are covering that. You already mentioned, sir, it right?
See, what we would be covering, we would be covering page object model, right? So
Um,
the framework that we would be covering would be a TDD framework.
Okay, TDD. Okay.
Yeah. So BDD, do you understand what is BDD?
No, sir. But mostly what I understood that whatever the web elements available there on the UI part or front end part, they are mostly selecting those or clicking, identifying the unique elements and using them for the writing the test code.
Okay. So again, see what you are saying, we would cover that in BDD as well as in TDD, but BDD is altogether a different thing. What we would be covering is TDD. I will give a small introduction about what is BDD. Let's take an example. If I give you to automate a scenario, what you need to do is you need to open Google. In
Hmm.
the Google search, okay, what you need to write, probably you need to write Amazon and you need to click on search, Google search button, right?
Yes, sir.
So in TDD, what you would be doing is driver dot get to google.com. This is the URL, driver dot, I would say, send keys, and if you want to type Amazon and driver dot click. So this would have,
The XPath, yes.
yes. So this would have the XPath, and over here we would give the XPath.
Yes,
For example, ABCD, something like that.
yes.
So this is TDD, where we
Okay.
would write the actual code. What happens in case of BDD? In case of BDD, I will say when
Yes,
I
yes.
navigate to Google.
The, given
Okay.
first,
Yes,
given, I
correct.
think
Yeah, the
given,
first is given.
given. Yeah.
We would also have the scenario. So we would also need to write scenario.
Yes. Scenario or scenario outline. Yeah.
Yeah, scenario outline is, see, if you want to repeat the same test with different
Yes.
data, that is where
Yes.
we would be using scenario outline. Okay.
Yes.
So
Yes.
given I navigate to Google,
Yes.
then I would say when I type Amazon in
Yes.
Google search
Yes.
and I click on Google search
Yes.
button, then
I should
I should
get the
get
Amazon
the
page.
results. Yeah, whatever, right?
Mm.
So this is called as Gherkin syntax, right?
Yes.
So behind this Gherkin syntax, eventually the code written over here would get called.
Yes. Yes, sir. Actually, what we are doing right now, maybe I can explain, will be helpful to other guys also. So whenever the end user or any guy who or even developer builds his scenario or the thing feature, so he write his own Gherkin syntax. I mean this feature file he builds. Then there is a tool, I don't know the name of the tool, but it converts the py file into the step file, and step file is basically the py file only. So in the py file, we are writing the same code like you are writing, sir, here. The driver.get.driver.send keys like this one.
So what we would need to use, we have got PyTest BDD.
Pi- Yes.
PyTest BDD. So when we use this PyTest BDD extension or library, it would convert this thing into automatically. So it would create the syntax in
Yes.
a TDD format, and that is where
Yes.
we would need to insert our code.
Yes. Yes, sir. Yes. Exactly.
Okay.
So I think it is moreover similar. So only I am learning an extension of the TDD. Maybe I can say, right?
Uh,
Currently, we are using the extension of TDD, but TDD is must for even BDD, right? It is like that. Can
yeah,
we
it
say?
is. Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
TDD is like we'll just try to understand how can we write the simple code. BDD is again like we'll have the Gherkin syntax, and on top of
Yeah.
the Gherkin syntax, we would be having or we would be writing the code.
Yes, sir. Yes. So that part I know. So not an issue. I mean, the only part which I am learning or willing to learn is this one. The Py. When we got that Py file, we modify it to get the more accurate Py. I mean the test code.
Yeah. So what would be more helpful or beneficial for you is how
TDD.
can you how can you write the this piece of code?
Yeah, how to identify the class path, then how to call the click function or how to call other drivers like this. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you.
Okay. Uh, okay, Pankaj. Do you have any questions?
Yes, can we test a .NET project with Python Selenium?
Yeah, absolutely, we can do it.
Okay.
Because see, what happens is the underlying technology could be anything, right? What we want to automate is we want to eventually automate the UI, correct?
Okay.
So the underlying technology, be it .NET, be it Java, be it PHP, be it Perl, be it Golang, any programming language, right? What we want to do is we want to automate. So using Python and Selenium, we would be able to automate anything.
Okay.
Okay, Nikita, anything from you?
Yes, wanna ask along with this, what all other like tools we are gonna cover in this course? Like there are some tools like automation server like Jenkins and some like Git. So
Hmm.
uh, do we cover?
Right. No, at this point of time, see, the focus would be purely on Python and Selenium, and then along with Python, we'll try to get understanding on PyTest, Jenkins, Git, all those stuff. Try to get the basics, right? We'll try to get the basics, and then if we have got a good understanding, good hold on the basics, we could talk about those additional items like Jenkins is used for continuous integration, continuous deployment, continuous testing. Git is used for version control systems, but at this point of time, we are focusing on the core aspects of test automation, which is Python and Selenium.
Sir, actually,
Okay.
our organization also we are using those things. I mean, the GitLab we are using
Okay,
and other things. So definitely, I think, sir, they will be useful because
absolutely.
we will not be able to work solely with the help of Python or Selenium. They ask us to learn the CI/CD pipelines and other things also. I mean,
Okay, all right.
yes, we never
No,
know. I mean, how to even they ask us to build a Maven project. The POM file, I think you are creating using the same thing or maybe.
yeah,
So we
pom.xml, I know.
Yeah, so they we don't know about them too much. I mean, even if we
Sure,
know about the language or its basics, so they are not so useful. I mean, we again have to put our learning into. I mean, to learn those things. I mean, energy into learning those things.
sure. No problem. We can have our discussion again. Yeah, no problem. That should be fine.
Yeah.
Okay, Archana, Anand, anything from you?
OS would be Windows, right? Or Linux.
I'm sorry, what was the question? OS would be Yeah, of course, that would be Windows, not Linux. Okay, I think we should be good. No more questions from Anand. If there is anything, we could again have a discussion with Anand. That should be fine. All right, so this is all we had for this specific session. I think we have covered most of the questions, and probably Swapnil, what we'll do is we would connect offline, and we could conclude the session for today. I would stop sharing